I'm sorry. I am trying to figure out how to share my screen, and it's not. Oh, here we go. Okay, perfect. Okay. The last thing we're going to talk about tonight, I know it's 8:30, you know, it's a little bit late, but the last thing that we're going to talk about tonight is something called anxiety. So here's the deal with anxiety. It rules out a dog's ability to learn new things. It rules out a dog's ability to be able to follow basic commands and to even concentrate. So a human example of this is we're on an airplane. I am your Spanish tutor, and I am taking you to Bermuda, okay? And on our airplane trip, we are learning Spanish. And all of a sudden, the captain comes over the loudspeaker and goes, "Shh, we're going to crash into the ocean." If I go, you must focus on your Spanish lesson, are you going to be able to focus on your Spanish lesson at that point? No. Okay. If I give you an Oxford English dictionary and tell you to read it out loud, are you going to be able to do that at that point? English is your first language. Why wouldn't you be able to do that? Because you're afraid you're going to die, right? Dogs are the same way. When they experience anxiety, they are not going to be able to learn new things. They're not going to be able to do simple things like sit down, watch me, anything like that. They're certainly not going to be able to alert you to your medical condition. So what we have to do is we have to teach you what dogs look like when they're anxious, okay? So does anyone know what a dog looks like when they're feeling anxiety? Some of the body language cues that a dog gives us when they're feeling anxiety. Has anyone ever seen the Denver the Guilty Dog video before on YouTube? No? Can you guys all see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. So the concept behind this video is this guy has come home and he sees that someone has gotten into the kitty cat treats and he wants to know who the guilty party is in the household, okay? So he's going to go up to each dog in the video and try and find out who the guilty party is. He goes up to one dog and he puts it in front of her face. And I want you to watch what she does when he puts it in her face. She turns her head in one direction. She turns her head away. She said, that didn't work. And she turns her head in the other direction and that didn't work. And now she's licking her kind of flicking her tongue out of her mouth. But Denver's obviously guilty party, right? His ears are back. His eyes are squinted. His head is down a little bit. If you could see his tail, it probably tucked underneath him. Now watch what happens. He comes up here and he puts it in front of his face. And poor Denver, he turns his head in one direction. And then he turns his head in the other direction. Nope, he doesn't. He's not doing that right now. But you can see his ears are back. His eyes are squinted closed. His head is down. And watch what happens here. Look at that face. Okay. Does anyone know what that face is?
Regret.
That face is it's something actually we do as humans. So say your boss, you tell your boss, hey, you know, I'm flying in for this medical alert dog class. I've had it planned for the last 4 weeks. You know, I asked for the time off, and your boss says, I'm sorry, you can't have the day off anymore, you know, or the time off anymore. We need you here. And you're like, oh, okay. And you say, but I paid all this money for this class, and I booked my airplane tickets. They're non-refundable. I've got a hotel. And he's like, I don't care. I want you here tomorrow. If you're not here tomorrow, you're fired. Now, if you want to keep your job, what are you going to do in that situation to kind of alleviate the stress in the room?
I feel a cough coming on.
You're going to go like, Yeah, okay, I'll be here tomorrow. You're going to fake smile, and under your breath, you're going to be going, leave me alone, I want to hurt you, okay? So that's kind of what's going on right here with Mr. Denver here. He's basically going, leave me alone, okay? So I want you to watch this too. Watch what happens when he stops with the fake smile. Look how he's sticking his tongue out, and he's licking his nose. His ears are back, his eyes are squinted, okay? Now I want you to watch down here. Denver is now physically trembling. And I want you to watch what happens when he moves away from this dog. Boom, those eyes come back open. Okay, now I want you to watch what happens when he walks away. Head is down, tail is tucked between his legs. All right, so I don't know, stop share, okay. So, does anyone know if that is a guilty dog?
That's a guilty dog.
You're saying that's a guilty dog? Well, I'm going to tell you what that dog is. That dog is terrified. He's not guilty, not necessarily guilty. He's displaying signs of anxiety. When I first saw this video, I was like, that dog, this is a bite video. That dog is going to bite that person because he's screaming everything he can to say, get away from me. I'm uncomfortable. Leave me alone. He is showing his teeth. His head is down. He's not looking at the scary monster. He's squinting his eyes. His ears are back. His tail is tucked. He's making himself as small as possible. And what he's doing is saying, I'm uncomfortable. Leave me alone. Get away from me. He is not saying I am guilty.